Hey guys, I just wanted to reach out to you and let you know that Surewinder is still selling amazing products. Some of you guys have been dragging your feet for whatever reason. If your shoulder hurts, do not waste time. Pull the trigger. I just bought 4 or 5 of them, and we had 2 guys out. You know how much it cost me to pay for 2 guys being out with bad shoulders? We just pulled the trigger and we said, listen, everybody's going to have one on a truck. It's mandatory. You got to use it. Don't hesitate. Don't wait till your guys go down. It's going to cost you more. Buy a Surewinder.
What's up, guys? Ryan here, Torsion Talk Podcast. And as you know, I'm always trying to bring you the best information, things that you wouldn't normally have at your fingertips to make it easy while you're going through your day. I bought a ticket to VidSummit. Robert flew out there and took advantage of it. For those of you guys who don't know, many of you guys who've come to one of my events has met Robert or Robbie or Pancake, but it's Robert Pancake. I call him Pancake, so everybody I think calls him Pancake. Extremely talented with video, and I know his son is as well. And so VidSummit was introduced to me by the guy who runs it. I didn't even know who he was until I met him in Costa Rica earlier this year. So I started following him and I got his book. And he is kind of the guy behind the scenes that helps all these YouTubers beat the algorithm and go viral. And so I thought it would be cool to have Pancake on to talk a little bit about what he learned out there and how it's applicable to the garage door industry. I'm actually recording from my house, and so is Pancake. So we no longer have a podcast studio until we move into my new house. And we are kind of in limbo on that. So be patient with us. But I do have a cool background. You got the Torsion Talk logo. Pancake's having his house painted and his dog's freaking out because there's a bunch of strangers in his house. So just be patient with us. We will get you the content you're looking for. So as Pancake gets up and runs off, Pancake, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Sorry if you're hearing my dog. She is going nuts today, and she was fine until 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, of course.
And that was because I was like debating, like, should I just go to the library and record this at the library or outdoors or anywhere away from all the stuff that's going on in my house? But
I've only heard her bark once, so I think you're good.
Okay, sweet. I was hoping maybe the ear pods would keep the background noise out of my room. So I kicked her out of the video game / guitar / drums room.
Okay.
So yeah.
Overall, how was VidSummit?
Dude, it was awesome, man. So it was in Dallas. It was a bit of I had not heard of the conference as well. It wasn't something I was super familiar with. But after I looked it up to see what all was going to happen, I saw Mr. Beast, and then I was informed by my children that Mr. Beast is kind of a big deal. He was going to be there. So that was cool. I would say that it was a lot of things that were very specific to YouTubers and people who are doing video online. But I think a lot of the stuff that they talked about could be, universal through pretty much anybody's business. So yeah, it wasn't.
So let me interrupt you real quick. I do some YouTube videos every once in a while. Some of those are like open box type videos that I do, comparison videos. I think they're great. I think they're educational. They grab people's attention. Some of the best blogs I have, like Amar versus Clopay, you can do videos on stuff like that and geotag them so that if people are local looking for them, they can find those videos in Google search. For those of you who don't know, Google or ABC owns YouTube. So Google's the #1 largest search engine. Guess who's number 2? It's YouTube. YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. And what's interesting is I always walk when I do these trainings like I did last week. We had 17 people out for the residential service professional training, sales training, and we always walk through the customer journey. And it was interesting because we always have like, probably 10% or less of the room, 5 to 10% of the people will actually say they start their journey for things like home services on YouTube, which is very different than like going to Google or going on social media and posting like, hey, you guys know anything? They want to like see if it's a DIY thing or see if they can diagnose it themselves to get more information so they can call and be better equipped. Oh, that was very interesting. So I want to ask you, what was your big takeaway? What's something that you were like, the one thing was like a big deal?
There was a bunch. It was kind of like that scene in what was it, UHF, where he's got the fire hose and he's trying to drink from the fire hose.
Yeah.
It was a ton of stuff. Some amazing speakers, and literally they had stuff going on from 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning till about 5 or 6, even through lunch, that sort of thing. They'd be like, go grab some food and then go pick which, of the 3 things you want to see, and bring your food in, sit down and listen, that sort of thing. So there was a ton of stuff to like take in. I made some notes from some stuff that they were kind of putting out there. And one of the first takeaways I had was just that consistency is key. And that can be for their side of things. It was, basically like consistently uploading content or putting stuff out there, that sort of thing. But for us, it might look more like consistent messaging, consistent effort in how you work with customers and how you treat them and that sort of thing. And then having consistent marketing that you're, always kind of striving for to see what's working, what's not working, but just consistently doing it, not just like, doing it for, 5 minutes and then being like, oh, this is not going to work. And then switching over to something else. Oh, this isn't going to work. 5 minutes, switching over to something else, basically, using research to try to figure out, what has the best success or best chance of being a success, and then diving in head first and really kind of going all the way before you decide, oh, this isn't working.
Nice. So you're like, you've been around me, garage doors, what I deal with, take out the marketing stuff. Let's say I'm just running a garage door company. What are some things that you learned that you would suggest to business owners on like things that they could do to get more exposure on YouTube?
Yeah. So I was trying to kind of think of that when I was going through all the different talks and everything, like how this kind of apply to some of the stuff that we're looking at. And you kind of already mentioned like unboxing videos. They really did talk up like doing versus type videos where you're kind of stacking up 2 different options and giving people a good indicator as to which might be the best choice, because there's a lot of people out there, especially on YouTube, who are, they're looking for that information, they're looking for that expertise that they are trying to make a decision on. So, if you can be that expert and give them that information, then you're going to be, a leg above. Is that
Yeah.
But you're going to be above the rest of the groups. So I would say those types of videos, but it doesn't have to be anything that is super. It doesn't have to be anything that's super complicated or anything. It can literally just be here I am, and there's an issue with this particular motor or this particular setup, and we just found out that this works the best, and so this is what we're going to suggest. That sort of thing, where it's just
Like diagnosing
doesn't have to be
type.
a huge production.
Yeah. So you're saying that like, I've always pictured doing YouTube, you got to have all this like post-production stuff. You got to have a really cool thumbnail. and all those things are probably nice to have, but you can do it without all that and it's still fine, right?
You can, although there was a lot of talks about how important the thumbnails were,
Yeah.
because they said that I think they passed the threshold of 50% of people being on their phones or on their computers. More than half, I think, are on their TVs now. So people are
Oh,
actually
wow.
literally watching YouTube stuff just like they are watching
My son
TV.
does. Yeah. All
Yeah,
day.
same.
So
And yeah.
what about shorts? Did they talk a lot about YouTube shorts versus long form content?
So it was funny. They talked a lot about. It almost seemed like there was people that did one or the other, and then you had people who were doing long form stuff who would then cut down their stuff to show on
Mm,
shorts. And so a lot of the longer form people were looking for quick ways to be able to slice and dice that content, which is where some AI stuff is coming in because it takes forever. I mean, even if just looking at the podcast that Torsion Talk is like, to go through and try to weed out the chunks that really speak to people takes a lot of time, because you've
yeah.
got to go through and figure it out and then see what would be best for people. But they're starting to get a few AI tools that I heard about at the conference that basically you upload your content to the cloud, and it goes through and it tries to figure out which sections might be the most appealing to people, and then it does a lot of stuff where it can highlight words or it can highlight sections that you can then take into shorts, and that sort of thing.
That's cool.
Shorts, yeah, shorts are there's a balance I think that needs to be made between shorts and kind of longer form content. Um, the shorts are really good just for kind of getting your initial first contact with a viewer, but they're not great for retention or for getting people to watch longer, more drawn out stuff. It's more
Yeah.
just very, very quick. So
So
they,
it's
you know, they
that was created, I think, as a competitor to Instagram, like short
TikTok.
videos and TikTok, right? So
Yep.
that was kind of their answer to combat that. And the cool thing about YouTube is people are doing Google searches and YouTube videos are coming up in search results. So if you
Yes.
optimize them, you could potentially funnel people into your website or your business by doing these.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's the challenge, right? It's kind of like radio, where like if you advertise with radio, I mean, you're having all these people from a large targeted area listening to the radio. But if you don't
Hmm.
service that whole area, it's kind of a waste of an effort for the most part. Like you're paying full price for advertising, but you're not getting the full opportunity. With
Yeah.
YouTube, you could get a bunch of views and things like that, but they don't really they don't really turn into dollars and cents for you in the way that you would think, like people picking up the phone and calling. But there's
Hmm.
other ways to make money with YouTube. You get enough activity, YouTube will actually pay you themselves, right?
Very true. So there is you have to reach a certain threshold of subscribers and activity and that sort of thing, number of videos or whatever. But yeah, you can make money, and some of these kids, man, they're making bank, man. Like it's crazy some of the numbers that they were throwing out there.
Is it a
But yeah,
thousand subscribers you got to reach? Is that the
yeah,
threshold?
that's the initial threshold for
Okay.
for that. But you can, even before you get to 1,000, if you want to be sponsored inside of a video by another entity, you can go out there and find other advertisers that would go ahead and do your like to sponsor it before you get to 1,000. So it's not necessary that you have to get to that point. You just have to get to that point if you want Google or YouTube to pay you
Yeah, I mean,
for
like
that.
Torsion Talk. I got my buddy out in California. He does a lot of like DIY and like some really good product review stuff. And I
Hmm.
know that, he's worked with some of the manufacturers and I don't know if he got paid for it or not, but that's certainly something that you could do is you could like we've got two sponsors now. We've had three or four at one time and paying. and everyone's always raved about how much exposure they get, and it causes the phone to ring. People call and say, "Hey, I heard you on Torch Talk," things like that. I think that's huge, right?
Yep.
And so,
Yeah.
if you, especially if you're niched down, if it's kind of a broad podcast where you're just talking about general things, I don't think it's easy to get a sponsorship early. But in the sense of like starting a YouTube channel, there's ways to get, like, I think even YouTube allows you to run ads on your videos,
Hmm.
and you can run ads with your videos targeting people who are watching other videos on specific things. So if you
100%.
want to try to get like more exposure, I think that's a great way to do it. So
Yeah.
what's some more takeaways that you got that you think will be helpful for garage door businesses?
Well, just piggybacking off what you just said, you can totally create videos that target a certain need, and then you can, advertise for people in a very specific geographic area on YouTube if they happen to be searching for that specific need. Maybe they're looking how to do something, and then they happen to see, oh, here's a local garage door company that fixes exactly what I'm looking at. I don't feel
Yep.
like doing this myself. It looks too dangerous. So let me do that. So there are ways of doing that. Um, and not to backtrack too much, but we were talking about thumbnails. They were saying that they're about to implement a thumbnail A/B testing system.
Oh, nice.
Because yeah, and there was people. I met a person there that's all his full-time job was making YouTube thumbnails.
Yeah, that's a real
That's a
thing,
job.
and they get
That's
paid
a
pretty
job.
well.
Yeah, yeah. And there was actually a whole talk that was just showing here's kind of the best ones that we think, and just because people are watching so much stuff on their TVs and through other content, it's become very important. But a couple more takeaways that I got. There were we've all heard of like the 80/20 rule, and one of the talks I thought was very interesting was that they basically um, applied that 80/20 rule, not just to, I mean, you can apply it to a bunch of different things. Generally, I think we think about it towards like, 20% of the people do 80% of the work or whatever it is, like that kind of thing.
Right.
But what they were looking at it was like, if you are working on your systems, working on how to delegate, figure out how you can identify those key workflows, um, and try to um, apply that 80/20 rule to those delegating those key workflows. So get the key workflows down, delegate the 80 so that you can concentrate on the 20, which I thought was interesting. And then also, if you've got a big decision to make, he's basically just saying that if you've got an 80% chance that you think it's a good choice, then that's kind of a good cutoff point to say, let's go for it. Versus if you're not at that 80%, it might be something that you want to reconsider and look for another opportunity.
Hmm.
So I thought that was kind of interesting too.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
What is the prototypical like length of video that is there like a time frame that they're trying to say most videos do well with?
It really kind of goes all over the place. I met a guy from Australia who he did videos where he sneaks into secure places. So
Nice.
he he is no longer welcome on board certain cruise lines. He has a lifetime ban. Apparently, he sneaks into all sorts of type places and videotapes himself doing so, and then edits that and then puts it online. And he's making enough money to where he has a guy that he hires as an editor. He flies between LA and Sydney, multiple times a year. He's doing all right. But there's a big I would say that there's people who are doing shorter stuff, and then there's people who are doing like middle kind of length stuff, and then people who are doing like long stuff, like a Joe Rogan type thing, where they're doing long form interviews, long form stuff. But I would say that most people are kind of start off doing shorter stuff, and then they try to get to that maybe 10-15 minute mark, because specifically for YouTube, like they that's kind of their I think that's where they pay the most. for people to do that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what they call long form content for them, because anything you can grab anybody's attention for more than 30 seconds is a kind of a win in their book.
Yeah. I've done videos. I was just pulling up the Aaron overhead door. We've got 141 subscribers, 40 videos. My top video is like a little 31-second commercial that we ran an ad on YouTube, 36,000 views. We've got a couple other little videos, 9,800, LiftMaster 87504 Elite Series Garage Door Opener Unboxing, 9,700 views. That's 10 minutes. Try to keep that under 10 minutes. We have like a little Milton Garage Door Showroom video. That's a minute. It's got 7,900 videos. I mean, just a video of me like 7 years ago when I first started my company, driving down the road, talking about I just left a customer's house, ran into her door and just needed one section replaced, which she thought she needed a whole new door. I just spent 2 minutes kind of talking about the differences between, hey, you don't have to replace an entire door. 5,300 views from 7 years ago.
Yeah.
How much are garage doors cost in the Atlanta area? 2,600 views. I mean, you got, I went to IDA Expo, took video of Somer's swing out garage door opener modification, 49 seconds. It's 2,000 views. I mean, you just got all these like, it doesn't take, I did one of my wife on Instagram, I think. Like
I think I remember that one.
You remember that one? Did I show it to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where it's like she'll suck the
music
meat right off your bones.
Yeah.
And anyway, I thought it was hilarious. So I posted it and it's got like almost 400,000 views.
Was that a short?
Yeah, it was a short.
Yeah, yeah.
A reel. I did a reel.
A reel. Yeah.
I think it was a reel.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun watching it because it's like all of a sudden it's like 2,000, 8,000, 12,000, 15,000, 60,000, 100,000. And you're like, holy cow, babe, all these people are watching you. And I thought it was just neat. So when you have something go viral like that, it's extremely exciting. My kids are constantly like, I want to be a YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually realistic. I mean, if you do it right and you structure it and you have good topics and content.
Somer USA and Somer Group want to thank you for an incredible year and the trust you put in them and their products. As you know, Somer places high value on relationships, education, customer service, innovation, and professionalism. And they are grateful to you for your part in the fostering and dissemination of these values. If there is any way Somer can support you in your journey, whether through their products, the values they hold to, or the knowledge Somer has gained through interaction with door dealers across the world, please reach out to the team at your convenience. They are here to serve you. Again, thank you from the entire Somer team. Check them out at somerusa.com. Tell them Ryan sent you.
What's more important, the visual aspect or the audio aspect? Because there's all this debate about that too.
So what do you mean by audio? Like the quality of the recording audio?
Yeah. If you're taking, the best quality video versus best quality audio, worst quality video versus worst quality audio, what seems to be the pecking order?
Yeah, I think, from what I could understand, like it's, the content is king. So, if you've got good content and you use what you've got, or, you have people who can help you use what you've got, then that's, honestly the best thing that you can do. Like really trying to put out good content. But really just like, trying to maximize the quality that you have. Mr. Beast was there, like I said, and like that was one of the things that he was talking about, was that like, when he started, he was just using some crappy little, video camera that he had, maybe even an old phone or something like that. And now he's got, nice cameras and all this stuff, but it's still, about the content that he creates. Some of his, most popular videos, weren't the ones that had the best, the best quality, but the content was there. But he also he still strives to have it be as good as it can be. where he's at, at that moment. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then I don't even know where I was going to go with that.
What about
basically
optimizing the video as far as like title and description and all that?
Yeah, 100%. Because if people don't, if you don't title your video right, if you don't add in some descriptive language in the description, it's going to be that much harder for people to find, that content. So one of the things that they were talking about was, having a list of helpful links that you could put in your description. And I would even say, like, put it in your description, but also when you post a video, go ahead and copy that and put it into the first comment, and then pin that comment to the top of the page. And then that way, if somebody, because I know on the phone you have to click, the title, and then it gives you a description,
right.
That sort of thing. And people kind of constantly are looking at the comments, I think, faster than they are looking at the description and the title of a video. So having that information there is super helpful. So not only can you put descriptive stuff like your what the video is about, but you can also put what the who you are, the products that you like to use,
like a bio and stuff.
Yeah, basically like a bio, where you're located, how to get in touch,
description
and it doesn't
of your
have,
company.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be something that you always have to type out yourself by hand. You can just make a template, copy and paste it into every video that you've got. So that way, if people are interested in reaching out, then they can. And that's also another way to make money too. Is if you have if you are, say, describing a particular item, if it happens to be something that is not, something that has to be installed by a professional, then you can, link that out to, an Amazon or any kind of site that has an affiliate program, and you can get, a 5% or 10% cut of whatever the sale is. And then I would also say that, if you're doing that, they may click it. Generally, for Amazon, I think if you click an affiliate link, that cookie lasts for 24 hours. So if if somebody clicks it, let's say on Black Friday, and they happen to buy, $2,000 worth of stuff, then you're going to get a credit for all those sales, even though they're not what you particularly drove them towards.
So using YouTube as an affiliate marketing platform, which is huge,
yeah.
especially from like product reviews. I think that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then another takeaway that I had from a lady was she had said, be scrappy, be nimble, and be fast. And she was a lady who started off doing hair care stuff on YouTube and has now expanded to where she has her hair and makeup line in like Target and stuff, like crazy, making lots of money. Like, she's doing great. And what she started off doing was not this past time when Taylor Swift came through, but I guess like the time before that, which was like 6 years ago, whatever. When they found out that Taylor Swift was going to be in their town, they went out and made a bunch of bracelets that were promoting her brand, and then went out to where everybody was tailgating for the concert, and then just started handing them out, and then asked people to tag her if they liked the bracelets, and she got a huge amount of play, doing that sort of thing.
Nice.
And then she also, when the last Hunger Games movie came out, they saw a preview, and since she was doing hair stuff, she saw a cool hairstyle that they were showing in the movie, and they literally went frame by frame trying to figure out, okay, let's do that. And then as the movie came out, they already had a video ready to go that showed you how to do the hair that people were going crazy about in the movie. But they did it proactively. They didn't wait until the movie came out and then like, oh, that's cool, whatever. They were literally like,
okay, the market's important with stuff.
Yeah. What movie is going to be big this year? And so they did a bunch of stuff with like the Barbie movie, whatever. They were like, that's obviously going to be, a big deal for our demographic or whatever. But I thought, man, that's really smart. Like, just kind of have your ear to the ground to kind of see what's coming. And then, it doesn't have to be something where you go out and spend a bunch of money. It's just a matter of kind of listening out for, for what's going on, and then kind of
Having
making a play there.
Yeah. That's
Mm-hmm.
really hard for business owners because we're stretched so thin to
Yeah.
do that, right? But
Yep.
I think it's a great idea if you
Yeah.
can be forward thinking like that. I mean, you could take advantage of like sporting events, you got the playoffs. I mean, you could do all types of videos to play off of certain things, take advantage of like Hunger Games like she did, or any major events that draw big crowds. I
Yep.
think that's awesome. That's great.
Absolutely. And then another one was that storytelling is not a trend. There's a lot of people who are scared of AI and all these different things, and it's like, yeah, AI is coming and it's going to change a lot of things. In general, it's probably just going to make us faster to be able to produce, but not necessarily. The idea is not there. It doesn't matter. The computer, like you still gotta like kind of be the catalyst for that idea,
Right.
and get it out there. So, storytelling, telling your story, telling the story of your company, telling the story of your customers, if they'll allow it. Obviously you got to ask permission and that sort of thing. But telling stories about, how you're helping, how you're serving your customers is never going to go. It's never going to go out of style. It's always going to be something that people are going to kind of connect with.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think YouTube is one of the, we're all as door guys and gals. Sorry, I know you guys the ladies are listening too. We're always trying to find ways to market where everyone else is not, right? And
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, because it takes effort and forethought and planning and all of that, those are usually the areas where your competition's not. And it's a great opportunity for you to dominate that space in your local area. So I thought that was a good opportunity for us to do a podcast on it, share a little bit of information. And on that note, like, how would you get started? What would you do? What equipment would you buy? Can you help us out with that, Pancake, and just like kind of give us a rundown? Like, if I'm just trying to get started, what's my first step? And then what kind of equipment do I buy?
I think to start off with, if you were just starting from scratch and ready to go, you already have the equipment you need, which is basically a phone. A phone that you can do a quick video, that you can, kind of just turn it around and videotape it. If you don't feel comfortable being in front of the camera, which I'm not a person who's super comfortable being in front of the camera, I'd rather be editing and doing, the production, post production, that sort of thing. But then you can turn it around and show your work. There's a lot of people who will show their work. There's a lot of people who will grab a camera, throw it on a tripod, and then do a time lapse video of them doing an install, doing woodworking, do whatever. I think that's fascinating sometimes, like watching people, even if it's like, actually, no, it's a huge one, is like people doing pressure washing.
Yeah.
Like they'll set up.
Bro, my wife is fascinated. I tell pressure washers all the time, if you're not doing shorts on Instagram and reels and all that stuff, you're missing it, because like my wife will sit there and watch somebody pressure wash the sidewalk or the driveway. There's something relaxing to women about that.
Yeah, I think it's turning chaos into order.
Yeah.
Like,
so you and I both have the DJI Osmo. I think that's a great tool.
That's a good one.
You can actually point it, like pick something and highlight it, and it'll move and follow that thing, right?
Yep.
So if you're in the garage and you want it to follow, and you don't have a cameraman, because that's part of the challenge too, right?
Yeah.
Is having somebody on site to record it.
Yep. Yep. And that's the DJI Pocket, right? The Osmo Pocket.
Well, you got the Pocket, but you also have the Osmo that you can put your phone in.
Oh yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
And it's like a steady cam, and also you can take the app and highlight what you want to follow. So
I would say
from DJI.
Yeah, DJI is great. Just little GoPro cameras are fine.
Mhm.
Those are great little cameras, easy to use. Both DJI and GoPro have apps that you can edit on your phone without even have to plug your camera into a computer. So if you're kind of worried about, I don't really want to, grab the camera and videotape what I want and then plug it into a computer and then edit and then export it and then upload it. There's so many different steps to that. It's simplified. You can get a GoPro or a DJI and literally edit on the phone. You can just hook it up and connect it and download the videos to your phone and then just boop, boop, and edit real quick. Add music and stuff like that if you want to.
That's great.
I would say the next step above that would be having somebody who is dedicated to increasing that quality and creating videos using maybe a nicer camera or something like that. The iPhones are great for when there's a lot of light and the settings are pretty good. The setup's pretty good. But if you're in a loud environment, if you're in a dark environment, having a microphone, having a camera that can do the low light a little bit better, will just make the quality, that much better. And then it's, Hollywood level, baby, just, you can keep going. There's no end to the,
Right.
to the stuff that you can buy at all.
You get sucked in pretty
it just
easy.
keeps going. Yeah, I've got a little bit of stuff here and there.
Because it's like, ooh, I can
get
get
the drone
shot, so I need a drone, and then I need a better microphone, and so you get the, I got tons of lapel mics. You do too.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sitting here looking at my desk. I think I got like 3 sets of them here around me.
Well, the DJI Pocket, which I wish I had it over, it's upstairs, but it's just a little camera. And if you've been to any of the store events that I'm at, I'm usually using it, and it's just this little gimbal, and it actually has a built-in wireless microphone on it that comes with it. So you can grab the mic, flip it on, throw it on your whatever, and then you could be.
It's got like a little tripod too that you can put on the floor or a table.
Yep.
Yeah, just follow you around too.
Yeah, it's super cool. So the guy that you were talking about, who was the co-founder, that guy was awesome.
Yeah, he was
super
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, he was super cool. Very, very interesting. Apparently he goes way back with Mr. Beast and all that good stuff. And was very interesting. There's another lady who was the founder of Quest Nutrition, the Quest granola bars.
Yeah.
Those Quest bars. She came and spoke too, and
nice.
And she was super cool. Her talk was all about relationships and building relationships, but also like empathy in relationships. Not
Daryl's
just
like a way down to earth guy who is super smart. He just rolled out a book. You guys should check it out. Daryl Reeves. And I don't remember what the name of his book is, but it's all about what we're talking about. So if you guys are interested in doing this video book, let me see if I can figure out the name of his book.
Yep.
But,
a lot of people mention Good to Great.
That's always
at their talks. Always a good one, classic one. Lisa Bilyeu, who's the founder of Quest, she also mentioned Rocket Fuel.
Yeah.
You know that one?
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one.
And I can't remember the name of it, and it's not pulling up. But
okay. Well,
yeah. So overall, you score the event what out of 10?
Out of 10, I would say probably a high 8.
Nice. It was packed.
It was packed. Tons of people.
There were a bunch of kids there.
Just a lot of kids there. I felt like I was kind of the oldest dude there. I was like, I got gray hair, all these millennials are gonna just laugh at me. But what was funny was that the older people, would kind of like bump into each other, and we all kind of knew what was going on. We're like, hey, let's talk, sort of thing. So it was good.
The only people you could talk to or you would get arrested.
Well,
because everybody was
young.
underage.
Well, they were some young ones, but there's actually some kids there, like family YouTuber
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
that sort of thing. So there's like some little kids there. But um, I saw like one YouTuber that I was like, oh, I know that guy. I've seen him, I've seen his stuff. But I know a lot of them, were there.
Preston was
Uh,
there too, right?
yeah, Preston Plays was there.
Yeah.
The guy that I saw that I've seen his talks is Legal Eagle. Do you know Legal Eagle?
Mm-mm.
He's a lawyer, and he does movie reviews, and picks apart the lawyering bits
Oh, like
to,
what's realistic and what's not.
yeah, yeah.
I got you.
So
Yeah,
he has a great video on My Cousin
I've
Vinny.
seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super funny.
What
So he
about
was really
Dude
cool.
Perfect? Is Dude Perfect
Didn't
there?
see, dude.
Because they're
Yeah, I
in
did not see
Dallas.
him. They're in Dallas. Yeah, yeah. They
You would
were. I
think
didn't
they
see
would
him.
be there. Huh.
Yeah, yeah.
I love Dude
Yeah,
Perfect.
they weren't there. I've got a few that like my son watches that I was kind of keeping an eye out for, but didn't see them. And then, but I met quite a few that were just interesting. Like the Australian guy who was like, oh yeah, I sneak into places. And then I met another lady who was kind of like Legally Blonde kind of girl. Like she was like a
Mhm.
lawyer, but she was all like pink, from head to toe.
Yeah.
And she was doing some
So
lawyer TV show.
let me ask you a question. This drives me crazy. Everybody, like, sometimes I get frustrated because I feel like everyone's acting like they put on a persona to like get the views. Is
Mhm.
it possible to get the views and to have a YouTube channel where you're just yourself instead of like, I mean, I watch these kids on YouTube that my son watches and they're all like yelling and screaming and acting a fool. Like they can't be like that 24/7. I felt like they're just putting on an act, to try to get kids entertained, right? Do we have
Yeah,
to put on an act the whole time, or can you just be yourself if you're interesting enough?
that's a really good question, because I think it stems from um, old school TV, where you had the announcers who were hello, kind of thing, like they were
Right.
super energetic in their own way, or you had the TV host, and so it's kind of a little bit filtered down that way, where yeah, people are kind of over the top, but I think there's room for everything, because there's certain people that will get rubbed the wrong way if you are super hyper and annoying.
Mm,
Some people think it's funny. Some people think it's not so funny. But there is probably just as many people who are looking to connect on a different level. I watch a guy that is in, I can't remember his YouTube handle, but he is a guy in Virginia area, and he does all this stuff about early American life.
mm,
And it's just him and a couple of guys, and they do like they'll make a recipe from like an old cookbook where it's like a handful of this and a pinch of that or whatever. It's like, or he'll make an old vat of uh, apple lager or something. Just
yeah,
random stuff.
yeah.
But he's not over the top. He's not like a young kid who's jumping around, trying to be something he's not. He just is the way he is, and he's passionate about it. And I
Yeah.
think if you have passion about something, then it comes across, no matter if you're,
Right. I agree.
somebody who's got a huge amount of energy or somebody who's a little bit more reserved. It's not. It's
All
not.
right.
You
Last
don't have to.
question.
Yeah.
Last question. I know we're running out of time. So, last question is, what is the frequency of which you should upload videos? Is there like a frequency? Should you try to post one every day, every week, every month? What is it?
That's a good question. So I think a lot of the people that were at the conference were of the opinion that it depends on what kind of content you're doing, but 1 to 2 a week was a pretty good um, stepping stone, to
Okay.
kind of start off doing stuff. You can
That's
do
long
shorts.
form.
That's longer form, but it doesn't have to be like
Okay.
super long, but longer than say 30 seconds, because
Yeah.
that's more the short stuff. I think, I don't even know if there's a maximum length anymore. There used to be, I think, of like 30 seconds or a minute or something uh, for the shorts, but I
The
think
shorts.
that they may have they may have mixed that, because I've seen some longer
Mm.
ones lately.
So the
Just like
shorts aren't so short anymore.
No, but YouTube's not a short anymore either, because it used to be that until you got to a certain number of subscribers,
Right.
you couldn't do anything more over 20
Like
minutes.
more, 10 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So that seems to be something that they always kind of do. But yeah, I would say, if you can post 1 to 2 times a week and then fill in with other content, little short stuff, then you're doing really well. And if you just do that consistently, it will grow. But there's so much stuff being produced. You just have to kind of put in some of the effort to get there. Otherwise, if you just do it for a week or a month, it's not gonna, you're not gonna get there. It's just not. Yeah. So I would say a couple times a week.
Well, thank you so much, bro, for coming on and giving your feedback from VidSummit. I want to encourage everyone listening to the podcast, if video is not it, find alternative means to get creative and do marketing and try to generate leads and get exposure for your business. This is a great opportunity because you can link from your website to this or post them on social media, and it gives you validity. You become almost like a product matter expert, and customers will really appreciate that and grow to love you or hate you, depending on how good of a bad a job you do. So anyway, long story short, I think that this was a great podcast because it gives you some tips on some of the things that some of the greatest YouTubers in the world are doing. And you can take those tips and apply them to yourself and make it happen. I know a lot of us are really weird about getting in front of the camera. You don't even have to get in front of it. You could literally film stuff and just do a voiceover or whatever. And video editing has become so much easier nowadays. You can even edit videos in YouTube. So lots of easy things you can do. You can do your thumbnails in Canva, which is super easy to use. An hour on that, you kind of figure it out. So explore it, try it, see what you think, get some videos out there. They're getting views. People are searching for stuff for garage door related or home service related stuff. Make sure you get it out there, get your content out there, and get the exposure that you deserve. And listen, it's free. It's literally free. You could do videos driving down the road like I did. You could do them in the garage, whatever. But I think it's a huge miss if we're not taking advantage of YouTube. Any last words, Pancake?
I would say I had one note that I had from Lisa Bilyeu, and it was confidence is the byproduct of taking action, not the other way around. And I was like, dude, that is so on point, because it is. It's the more you do something, the more you're confident you are doing it. And if you're consistent with it, then you're going to break through.
I love it. Thanks, Pancake, for coming on. And
thanks for having me.
Guys, it's a great opportunity for you to make a difference, be different than your competitors, and get in front of more people. Take advantage of it. We appreciate you listening. Make sure you follow, subscribe, smash that like button. Just kidding. You can if you want to, but I'll let you later.